For us in the U.S., it is now past Thanksgiving, which means we are officially into the holiday season. So Hanukkah, Bodhi Day, the winter solstice, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve, and of course, Christmas are all coming up over the next few days. And even for those who don't celebrate a formal holiday tradition, often the end of the year is a momentous event.
Yes.
Now, here in the Hargis house, one of our most treasured December traditions is called Advent. And Advent is a word that means coming into place, view, or being. For example, the advent of social media.
This is great because in Montessori, in our lower elementary program specifically, we often encourage children and their parents to look up the origin of words. So that might be something that you take with you into the season of Advent or Christmas or whatever you're celebrating this time of year.
That's right, because, of course, you can say the advent of social media or the car, but for us as Christians, it means we're celebrating, of course, the coming of Christmas. So, what exactly is Advent?
Well, when we have Montessori-style conversations with our children, which we are continuing to do, even though our children are older, this is the way we've always done it, we bring up a concept and then we kind of suss out what they know about it first. And so one of the things we like to do at the beginning of every Advent is bring up the word Advent because it's actually kind of an uncommon word unless it's being used in this particular context. And we think of words that sound like the word Advent. What begins with ad? We can think of words like
adventure,
right? Which makes total sense when you think about something that is coming. We're taking a journey, right?
That's right.
I don't know. So we could go on. We think of many words that start with ad. Adverb. That's great. Maybe it feels like Christmas is coming slowly for you, or maybe it feels like it's coming really quickly, like it does for us. It feels like, oh my gosh, I'm going to blink and it's going to be Christmas.
That's right.
And so right now I'm kind of in freak out mode, thinking, are we going to be ready for Christmas? And we're going to be personally traveling during our Christmas vacation, and so. I'm thinking, are we ready for the traveling? And are we ready for the relatives? And are we ready for all these experiences? Well, Advent is actually a great time to settle into these thoughts and to kind of get yourself prepared for what is coming, whatever it is that is coming for you.
And what is Advent?
So Advent itself, we just talked about it. It is a coming. It is a season. In the liturgical season for our faith and many other Christians, it means that we are celebrating this period of darkness that happens right before a birth. That is the birth of Christ. And so one of the ways that many Christians celebrate it is with an Advent wreath. You may have one in your home. You may have seen one. You may never have used one. But essentially, it's a series of 4 candles that are spread apart in a circle. This comes from ancient traditions, so it's thousands of years old, this idea of celebrating the darkness and preparing for the light that is coming, which eventually will come in the spring.
That's right.
But this is the season of darkness, so it centers right around the winter solstice, the darkest time of year. And so in our family, we love to gather at the dining table and celebrate Advent basically every single night that we can. We light a candle. You light 1 candle for each week until all 4 candles are lit. And then on Christmas Day, you get to light the candle that's in the middle.
That's right. Now, each of these candles represents a different concept. And there's variations, of course. For us, the 4 candles represent hope, peace, love, and joy. And then in the middle, you have the Christ candle.
Yes.
And each week you would light a different candle. Now, I grew up in a Christian church, but I did not celebrate Advent. This was something I learned about much later. And I think the fact is, even if you are not a religious person, if you're not a Christian, there's something really powerful about lighting each of these candles because there's an actual physical, real-world event that coincides. as Aubrey was talking about a minute ago, and that is the solstice. The winter
Mhm.
solstice is on the 22nd or the
Yes.
21st, and it is the longest day of night. It's a very dark night. So there's a symbolism that also goes with our natural world. As we light each of these candles, the world each week gets a little bit brighter, and then the world literally starts to get brighter as the sun starts to shine more on us, and we get longer days, at least here in the northern hemisphere. So there is a beautiful metaphoric and also physical relationship between the lighting of these candles and the celebration of Advent.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but in the Waldorf tradition, they actually have an Advent spiral,
Ooh.
which I love the idea of. It is like Maria's Catholicism. Waldorf also comes from a deep religious and spiritual traditions as
Yeah.
well. But the way they do Advent is really cool. They actually build a spiral on the floor, which is making me think of our theme stellar,
Oh, yeah.
right, and the galaxies. So kind of to symbolize the spiral nature of the universe and of life itself. And they have the children walk in the spiral, which is lit with candles that represent different things. And now I am not a Waldorf trained teacher, so I actually don't remember what those candles symbolize. If they're the same for all Waldorfians or Steiner followers or not. But I really like the idea of it. And so I think that it is something that everyone in every tradition can incorporate. I mean, candles are for everybody. So I am encouraging you this time of year to think about the darkness of the season, the literal physical darkness that is out there in the world as the sun is, as the earth is in a different position, right? The sun is staying there, right? But as we move into the season, arrange your candles in whatever formation you like. Maybe you like the spiral approach. Maybe you like the circle approach. Maybe you just like them in a straight line.
Yeah.
But light some candles this season and celebrate.
Now, of course, this does make me curious because this is a tradition that originated and is logical for the northern hemisphere.
Yes.
I suppose in the southern hemisphere, we know we have friends out there south of the equator, and it's the opposite. It's actually getting brighter and brighter. But the symbolism is still there.
Yes.
You can make that work. No, it's a beautiful tradition. And as our kids have gotten older...
Maybe they do that during the spring. I don't know.
Why not? As our kids have gotten older, we have started to explore. And this is actually, if you have really little ones, just the lighting of the candle, actually those are activities within the curriculum itself. Tablescaping and so forth we talked about last time. But as they get older, you can start to talk more about the symbolism and the cultural representations that are happening within that, and it becomes very interesting. In fact, as our kids got into teenagehood, we really got to explore. We started reading lots of classic works. I think I remember reading Beowulf and other works that are kind of drawn from this idea of light and the symbolism of light and the actual literal light and the actual literal darkness and light of the earth, and for Christians, the light of Christ. So all of these things kind of flowing together. And that's a really beautiful and interesting way to kind of extend your celebration of either Christmas or even just the coming solstice and the end of the year.